Hello and welcome to another segment of Interviews That Matter. I'm your host Raj Mehta. Friends, in this segment, we bring those guests who influence our lives. This includes elected officials, policymakers, heads of major organizations, and other dignitaries. It is my sincere hope that the knowledge brought in by this guest will help our community. Today, our guest is Dr. Yaconv Shamash. Dr. Yaconv Shamash is a Dean of Engineering at the Stony Brook University, and also he's a Vice President of Economic Development at the Stony Brook University. Let's meet Dr. Yaconv Shamash. Dean, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for taking time.
Thank you for inviting me.
No problem. Now, I want to begin. You wear so many different hats, and I know you for a long time, about 12, 15 years or whatever. And you, too many places your hands are there. So I would really want to start with your career first. Okay. That how did you reach here where you are now? So if you can tell us about yourself first.
Sure. I did all my studying, high school and university in England,
okay,
in London. And then when I got my PhD, I went to Tel Aviv University in Israel, where I worked there for about 3 years. From there, I came to the United States. I was at the University of Pennsylvania for a year, then moved down to Florida, went to Florida Atlantic University for about 8 years.
Okay.
And then from there, I decided to cross the continent and go over to Washington State. Went to Washington State University.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And there I was the chair of electrical engineering and director of School of Electrical Engineering and Computer Science. And then decided that we needed to come back to the East Coast, had family and connections here in the Northeast. And so I accepted the position of Dean of Engineering at Stony Brook University. And that was in 1992, and I've been here ever since.
So in what subject you did PhD in?
My PhD was in electrical engineering.
Electrical engineering.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I taught as a professor in electrical engineering too.
To other, at
Washington State in Florida, University of Pennsylvania, all of the places.
So you taught over there?
I taught, absolutely,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, taught and did research.
Oh, okay. Oh, and the research also together. And then 92 you came here, since then you are here.
That's correct.
So right now you've been Dean for almost, 20 years?
20 years.
20 years, wow, wow.
It's a long time.
Yeah, wow.
But it's been a lot of fun. We've been growing programs and doing a lot of new things, and it's been, like I said, it's been a lot of fun. So,
what is your responsibility as a Dean?
Okay, as Dean, I'm responsible for all of the engineering programs and applied sciences. So I have all the traditional engineering programs like electrical engineering, mechanical engineering. We have a department in material science and engineering, programs, a program in biomedical engineering, chemical engineering, civil engineering. And we also have applied sciences programs. In particular, we have computer science.
Oh, okay.
And we have applied mathematics and statistics. And we have also a department of technology and society that looks at the impact of technology on societal issues and societal issues. So overall, the College of Engineering at Stony Brook has we have about 3,600 students.
Okay.
Of which about 2,500 are undergraduates and about 1,100 are graduate students. And it's continuing to grow. And the quality is outstanding in terms of the quality of the students, quality of the faculty. And we teach undergraduate programs, we teach master's programs, we have PhD programs. As you know, Stony Brook University is a research institution.
Right.
So most of our faculty, all of our faculty have to do research. And if you're going to have PhD programs and graduate programs, you must also have research programs require graduate students to work in, so the two go hand in hand teaching and research. That's essentially the mission of Stony Brook University.
So all these departments are under your,
That's correct.
under you basically, right? Okay. Okay. Now,
They're all in the College of Engineering and Applied Science.
everything is under College of Engineering,
Right.
Okay. Now, now you don't teach, obviously,
Yeah, well, I do a little bit. Sometimes I do some lectures, but no, I don't teach.
right? So do you miss teaching?
Oh, you bet, absolutely. That's why I went into academia, was to be in teaching and in research. I did a lot of teaching, did a lot of research, and so now I'm spending a lot of my time trying to help other faculty members develop their research programs, working, we're recruiting some very, very good professors, and just looking at the whole thing, both teaching and research and public service. Public service is a very important part of what we do as a state university. It's very, very important for us to work with the community, to work with industry. As you know, we've worked with your company for a long time, and that again is part of our mission.
What do you think about, I mean, how do you get involved in public service? I mean, I'm just kind of...
Well, we have, for example,
Right.
it's primarily out of the engineering school. Our primary work is with businesses and industry, and some of that is done on by doing R&D projects jointly with companies. We have a program where we can actually cost share a project with a company. So it's in any one year, the colleges will probably work with anywhere between 100 and 150 companies on joint projects. We help companies in their proposals to write SBIRs, STTRs, for example, the federal research programs. Our faculty would work with them in developing their proposals. Companies developing a new product may need to utilize some of the very specialized equipment and facilities that we have at the university. That's another way of working with them. We have relationships with companies where we place students to work with them as interns or during the summer, and they give scholarships. There's multiple ways in which companies and the college work together.
Can you describe a little bit more on SBIR, like Small Business Innovative
Research?
Right?
Yeah, these
so
are.
I think that may be useful to our viewers.
Sure, there are the federal government has a program which is an SBIR program, where every federal agency has a certain percentage, small percentage of its budget allocated to research these SBIRs, small business, to encourage small businesses to do research projects, and so. We help companies write those proposals. You write a proposal, there are 2 phases. I don't remember the exact numbers now, but phase 1, essentially, a company would get, I think it's, I shouldn't be quoted, this is not exact, but around $150,000 for 6 months. And then if they take that idea and try to essentially develop the prototyping and commercialization and so on, they could essentially get a second grant of about $1 million if they are successful. The nice thing about it is that the company doesn't actually lose any equity.
Oh, okay.
So they keep all of the equity, and are able to commercialize. It's a grant. It's like a grant,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So someone who has the idea on the paper,
Yep.
they are the right people for this kind of program, or who are the right
It's such small companies. It has to be small companies.
So company has to be already in existence?
The company has to, they can, whatever, they can be they have to be in existence by the time they apply.
Okay.
Okay?
Oh, okay.
And then they write a proposal. And if they're successful, the idea is good, if it's technically worthy, and if they can convince the reviewers that they're able to accomplish the tasks that they've set for themselves.
So the grant goes to Stony Brook University and then goes to the company?
No, the
Or straight to
SBIR,
company?
the grant goes to the company. And if the company had developed that proposal, utilizing people from Stony Brook,
Right.
or essentially working with them and helping them develop the product, then they could subcontract part of that funding to go to a Stony Brook faculty member or researcher.
Okay, so you help basically writing the proposal, basically.
We help them essentially with the technical
Technical aspect.
parts of the
What
project.
goes in the proposal
Right.
and how it should be laid out and all that.
That's correct.
right?
That's correct.
Yeah. So that's a big help, actually.
That's a very big help,
Yeah.
and that's it, and it's a very important thing.
You know,
Yep.
people don't know. People are afraid of it. You know.
Well, but you know, the nice thing about it is that it's every agency, I believe it's every agency of the federal government has that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have a good project and good prospects,
Bring it.
you should apply.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you never know.
You never know, absolutely. If you don't try, you're not going to get.
Don't try. Right. Exactly.
That's
yes,
correct.
yeah. So mostly these grants are. There is a bigger grant on Department of Energy. Is that something like that, or DOD?
Well, it depends on it's percentage of the budget. So it depends on what agency has what big budget, or DOD has it, DOE has it, National Science Foundation has it, NIH has it.
So most of what was the most success ratio in which agency?
I don't know.
Like normally, I mean, you know, normally it happens like, you know, let's say energy, right? Energy that is more focus goes on energy, and then more dollars goes in energy, something like that.
Could be. I don't know, but I don't have those numbers.
Okay, got you. Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, if you have an idea and if you really want to, if you believe in your idea, then you might want to, you know, take this step here, you know, to contact University of Stony Brook and, you know, develop a proposal together for these SBIR grants.
Well, you know, or any other university in their area, they can certainly do that too.
Now, you also are Vice President of Economic Development
Yes.
for the Stony Brook University?
Yes.
Okay. So can you describe that, you know,
Well, there
program?
it's actually builds on what we talked about in terms of the College of Engineering working with business. The mission of my office as Vice President of Economic Development is to really promote the utilization of the university's assets, leveraging the university's assets to help with economic development on the island, on Long Island. And so, so if you look at the university, it's essentially an engine of new ideas, new research, new things that are being developed at the university, and then trying to help commercialize those by working with companies, helping companies like the program that I described, the SBIR, STTR, is one small part of what we do. We have, as a result of that, we have in effect built two major research centers. One of them is the center. The New York State has I believe it's now they had 6 or maybe 7 centers of excellence, what they call centers of excellence.
Right.
And we have 2 of them at Stony Brook now.
Okay.
We have one in the area of energy, advanced energy research, and we have one in the area of wireless and information technology.
Okay.
And each one has a facility which has some very unique laboratories and equipment there that can maybe utilized by industry in terms of developing new products and so on. So those 2 facilities now are up and running.
Okay.
They are both essentially full. And they are working with tens of companies at any one time on many different R&D projects. So in the wireless center, we're working on projects related to information technology as it applies in infrastructure, as it applies to transportation, as it applies to healthcare and medicine. And each one of the facilities also has an incubator so that we can take some small companies right there next to the labs that they were developed in, and essentially try to develop the idea before you set them out on their own. So these 2 major facilities are up and running. We also have a couple of other incubators. We have what's known as the Long Island High Technology Incubator, which is focused on biotechnology and engineering and software companies. And then we have an incubator at Calverton, right behind or next to Brookhaven National Labs. And that one is focused more on environmental technologies and horticulture, and which fits in with the environment in that area. So there are incubators. We have a number of projects that are focused specifically to try and help small companies with their R&D projects. We have, again, the state of New York has 15 centers for advanced technology, what they call 15. Stony Brook is the only one that has 2 of those 15.
Okay.
They're located at all the major universities in New York State. The 2 that we have is, one of them is in medical biotechnology, and the other one is in the area of sensors and electronics. Both of them have a mission of trying to help New York State companies, okay, in terms of creating new products, developing new products, and therefore new high-tech equipment, high-tech employment. And so there are all these programs. We have a small business development center that can essentially help small companies develop business plans and things like that. We have a corporate training center that will work with companies in terms of creating new training programs for their employees and things like that. So all these programs essentially are all within the basket of programs that we utilize in terms of helping Long Island with their economic development.
We'll take a short break and we'll be right back. Welcome back. Okay, now we want to talk about the Advanced Energy Center. Okay, that was established about what, 2 years ago approximately, and I think whatever all this Center of Excellence, and I know that you were the key person in getting Stony Brook all these things. So we really appreciate it. You being there and you're being in Long Island and you're helping a lot of people here. So we are really thankful for that. Yeah.
Thank you, but it really is not just one individual.
No, it's not one individual, but your efforts are pretty well known in all these things. Now, Advanced Energy Center, you're a co-chair.
Yes.
Okay. And every year you have an event, and this year also there is an event in New York City in Yaconv Center.
That's correct.
So we want to know something about that program.
So my other co-chair, of course, is as you know, who essentially was a lead person on creating the Energy Center, was Robert Cattell. And we have had a conference now every year for the past 5 years. And this year it's being held in the Javits Center. We used to have it on Long Island, but it came to a point where we cannot accommodate it on Long Island because of the demand of numbers of people that want to attend, number of companies that want to exhibit at the conference, and so on. So the purpose of the conference now, and I think it's now recognized as this is the energy conference for New York State. We are expecting anywhere between 2,000 and 3,000 people at the conference, and it has sessions that covered many areas of energy. So whether it's solar, we have something on wind, we have something on gas, we have something on fuel cells, any kind of battery storage and so on. And we have essentially it's 2 days of sessions, and we have some keynote speakers, and it's a very important economic development tool also, because about 30–40% of the attendees actually come up from out of state. And they stay in the hotels and they stay in the city and so on. So it brings in revenue to the state also. But it's the who's who in energy essentially is at that conference.
I know, I've attended a few of them in the past.
And you should this time too.
They're pretty well attended, and they're very informative, a lot of information, a lot of new technology also.
That's correct.
Showcased over there.
That's correct.
Right. So
and we have a lot of exhibitions that are going to be there, and so it's a very exciting conference. We have a similar thing also with CWIT, the Wireless and IT Center. We also have had a conference every year now for about 10 years. But about 3 years ago, we created, working with the government of Korea, we created a center there called Center of Excellence in Wireless and IT is CWIT.
Right.
So we have CWIT here in the United States, and we have CWIT Korea in Korea. And their conference, the CWIT conference now is being held in Korea this November, I believe November 5th and 6th. So the center there is in fact funded by the government of Korea, and it complements our center so that we're able to do some complementary research work, working with companies here and companies in Korea.
That's good. And I mean, many of our viewers are basically from Southeast Asia.
Yes.
South Asia, right? Which
Yes.
includes India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and all that.
Yes.
So I'm sure that you have, met many people from our communities, and I
Yes.
want to know your feelings about our community. What do you think about them? Many of your students also might have been there in the past,
Yes.
and also
Yes.
currently.
No. Currently, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, a lot of my friends are also from Southeast Asia, and they're very hardworking. Some of our best students come from there too.
Okay.
I would say probably in our graduate program, in let's say in the engineering programs and so on, at least 40% of the students come from China and Southeast Asia.
40%.
Yeah, at least.
That's a big.
Okay. Again, I'm just
Yeah. Right.
coming just based on, I didn't look at the number before I came, but
Right.
I would think that it's at least that.
Wow.
We have our faculty are also, of course, very diverse. We have a very diverse faculty at Stony Brook, and I would say again 30–40% of the faculty in the engineering school come from China and Southeast Asia. So we have a diverse student body, we have a diverse faculty, and it makes learning even more interesting, because not only are you studying the subject matter, but you're also working with people from diverse backgrounds, diverse countries. It's just a tremendous asset
And
to
learning
you.
from each other also.
Exactly,
About
of
the
course,
culture,
exactly.
about their habits,
Exactly.
everything like
Which
that.
is very important
Right.
when these
Yeah.
students graduate and they go into the work. It's no longer, well, I'm going to just go work at this company and I'm going to work in Massapequa or something, and that's it. Well, that doesn't work anymore. You're going to be working with people from all over the world, and it's a global economy.
Well, we are almost running out of time.
Yes.
And really appreciate you coming here today. It was always a pleasure seeing you, your smiling face. We've known you for almost 15 years, and
Yep.
It's always a pleasure.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you, Raj.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
No problem. Thank you so much for joining us. If you have any questions, comments, you can email me at rajmitv@gmail.com. Again, that is rajmitv@gmail.com. Until next time, see you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.